Yo, what's up guys, King Sean here, and in today's video, I'll be going over a bunch of Commanders news, and I'll be giving you guys my preview to Sunday's matchup against the Dolphins. Sorry, I have been away for the past, really this whole week. I've just been sick and have not been able to record a video, so sorry about that, but I will be covering everything that's happened this week, and I'll be also giving you guys my game preview for Sunday's matchup against the Dolphins in Madrid. You know, we've seen all the clips and stuff, all the pictures from Madrid. I mean, the practice facility they're practicing at, pretty sure it's Real Madrid's, is beautiful, state of the art, and it's kind of weird getting news and updates, you know, East Coast time, early in the morning, 6, 7 a.m., right? But obviously over there, it's a lot later in the day, so again, that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. But before we do, make sure y'all leave a like down below, subscribe if you're not already subbed up to the channel, and turn on notifications. And with that out of the way, let's get straight into today's video. Alright, so the first piece of news I want to start with is the news we got Monday, I want to say, the day after the Lions game. Obviously that game where we did not force the Lions to punt a single time, and we knew our defense, was terrible before that game, but to not force the Lions to punt a single time in that game, that's insane. We made the Seahawks punt once. I know we got destroyed in that game and our defense was not there at all, but we forced them to punt. We forced the Chiefs to punt like twice or 3 times, I think. Like, the fact that you don't have them punt the ball, you didn't force them to punt the ball at all in that game, is just insane. And something needed to change. Now, change probably won't do much for this season. Like, I don't think DQ taking over play calling responsibilities will really change much, especially with how depleted our defense is injury-wise. Trey Amos suffered a season-ending injury on Sunday against the Lions, right? We already have Marshawn Lattimore out for the year, so like all these different injuries. Dorrance Armstrong's out for the year. Dietrich Wise, Javonte Jean-Baptiste, Will Harris. Well, Will Harris is actually back. He had his window open. We'll talk about that in a bit, but he got injured. Like, all these injuries, it's not going to matter at this point who's calling plays. This defense will get cooked, and it was already bad before. Now with Trey Amos, our best cornerback, out for the rest of the season, it's going to be even worse probably. Maybe it looks a little better. Maybe it shows more life with DQ as the play caller, but I doubt much will really change. But obviously, Joe Wood Jr. has been stripped away of his defensive play calling duties, and this makes a ton of sense. Again, not much will change, but DQ felt like a change needed to be made, and I agree. Joe Wood Jr. has not been good at all this year play calling wise. I feel like the defense has only had like 3 games max where they've played solid. The Giants game, Raiders game, the Chargers game, that's really it. Every other game they've been straight up horrendous, and these past 4 games where we've gotten blown out and they've allowed at least 28 points in each game, something needed to change. And you know, DQ taking over, the problem is if the defense keeps playing bad, now they won't be blaming, well, the fans won't be blaming Joey Jr. They're going to be blaming Dan Quinn, right? So is DQ really ready to take that heat? Not sure, we'll see, but once again, this isn't a surprise. DQ will be taking over play calling responsibilities. Joe Wood Jr. moving back up to the booth. Hey, I thought moving to the sidelines would change something. I'm speaking like in Joe Wood Jr.'s brain. Like, he really thought moving down to the sidelines would change a thing. That's crazy to me, right? But yeah, DQ once again taking over play calling responsibilities, and we'll see. You know, will this defense look, at least show a sign of life? We'll see. I doubt it, but you never know, man. Now let's get to a bit of positive injury news. Drake Jackson, defensive end, has had his 21-day practice window open. Remember, we signed Drake Jackson, I want to say 4 to 5 weeks ago, and we signed him because I think it was Dorrance Armstrong. Yeah, Dorrance who got injured, and we needed more depth at the end. We needed more depth, and what we didn't know is that Drake Jackson is actually injured himself. He still has not fully recovered from his knee injury and needs to go on IR. Well, shoot. we need DN depth now. Why are we signing a guy who's injured? I get that Drake Jackson, though, is more of a guy who they want to develop and have here for, next year and hopefully years beyond as well. So from that standpoint, it makes sense. But then from like a now standpoint, bro, we need guys now. Can't be signing injured guys, right? But Drake Jackson just had his 21-day window open, so he's practicing. And then Will Harris also had his 21-day window open. Remember, he broke his fibula or fractured his fibula versus the Raiders, but now he's back practicing on a limited basis, and maybe practice this week, and then just healing more during the bye week. He may be back against the Broncos week 13, right? We'll see, but our defense is not great, very depleted by injury. However, Will Harris, if he comes back, won't give much of a bump or an increase in play. However, would definitely be a positive thing to see him back out there on the field. All right, now let's go over the injury reports. So you see here, 6 guys have been listed out: Treylon Burks, Jane Daniels, Will Harris, Drake Jackson. Those 2 guys obviously just had their windows open, like I just said, so they'll be out this week. And then Ali Cajo, Terry McLaurin, all those guys will be out. Treylon Burks, Jane Daniels, and Ali Cajo, they did not make the trip. Obviously, Jane Daniels, with the elbow, Ali Cajo with a concussion. But Treylon Burks, finger surgery. He got surgery on his finger. It's not a major thing. It's minor, but, man, I mean, how are you already hurt when you just got it? That's the one thing with Treylon Burks. He has not been able to stay healthy in his career, and he's already hurt with us. So that does not help your case, bro. But it's not major, according to DQ. If it's just a finger, I think he'll be back after the bye week against the Broncos. But it just sucks because, we had a good game versus the Lions, and I hope to see him a little more, but won't be able to do that this week. Ben Sinnott, Jordan McGee listed as questionable. Think both guys will be fine to play. Maybe keep an eye out on Ben Sinnott since he did not practice today. So, maybe there's a chance he doesn't play, but still think he's going to play. And then everybody else is good to go. And then as for the Dolphins injury report, they're looking pretty healthy. They have Austin Jackson doubtful, so that means he's probably not going to play, which is a loss for them on the O-line, but I think they should just be fine. That should not impact them too much. And then everybody else for them, well, the questionable guys, they have 3 questionable guys: Bradley Chubb, Rasul Douglas, and D. Eskridge. Those guys were pretty much limited all week, though, so I think they should be fine. And then everybody else not listed with a game status, so they are good to go. All right, so now I want to talk about the game a little bit while I have my score prediction on screen. So I have us losing this game 34-20. And look, after the Lions game, I was just saying, just immediate reaction, yeah, we're getting decimated by the Dolphins next week, especially how they beat the Bills. I mean, if they blew the Bills out, what are they going to do to us? Just not a lot of hope here heading into this game, especially with all the injuries. Again, all the injuries we had, and we suffered more last week against the Lions. You can't get any worse than this when it comes to injuries. We are decimated by injuries. Absolutely decimated. It is terrible. It really is. And, we aren't the only team dealing with injuries, but we're having it the worst this season, in my opinion. No team is really going through this right now. We are just crushed by injuries. So many guys have gotten injured, suffered season-ending injuries, and because of that, both our offense and especially our defense has taken a massive hit. I mean, our defense before the injuries wasn't great, but I mean, with the injuries and with the way the defense has played these past 4 games, really, I mean, man, this game versus the Dolphins on Sunday in Madrid, it might turn ugly. It might. Now, I do have it being closer than, some fans may think, 34-20. I think at one point in the game, it'll be 20-20. And then the Dolphins just pull away and score 2 more touchdowns to make it 34-20. And they end up winning the game. That's how I kind of see it playing out. Now, maybe, just maybe, you know, with DQ calling the plays now, our defense looks more lifeful, I would say, like more life injected into it, despite all the injuries. But I mean, with all the injuries, it's hard to get this defense to play well. With how bad it's been playing, it with all the injuries, like I don't think DQ will pull it off. I want to believe in him. I want to believe it'll make a change, him calling plays, but I just don't have the confidence. I just don't. And it can't get any worse, but I mean, we saw it get worse versus the Lions last week. So, and the Dolphins' offense ain't the Lions' offense. Tua is not better than Jared Goff. However, they've got speed. They got Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane as their top two weapons. And if they get the ball to those two guys, especially in space, watch out. Because we have an old and slow defense, and those two guys can flat out fly and can absolutely hurt us. And I'm scared of what they will probably do to us. Not what they may do to us, will probably do to us Sunday morning in Madrid. But as y'all saw, that was my final score prediction for Sunday morning's game. 34-20 Dolphins victory. Comment down below your score prediction and if the Commanders can have any hope of winning this game. Comment down below some of the things they may need to do. So that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're not already subbed up and turn on notifications. And other than that, it's been King Sean and I'm out. Peace.